Hey guys, welcome back to Person to Person. I'm Shanita.
And I am Journey.
And on today's episode, we're going to talk about family trauma. Who child? So make sure you got your tea. Okay, because it's going to get pretty heavy and hot. Of course, we're going to spill some tea first.
Of course, we're going to spill some tea first. This month is November. It start off to all of the holidays, and so we'll be talking about family topics. So it looks like Jonathan Majors and Megan Good are going to be starting their own little family.
Yes, they are engaged. Word on the streets is they are engaged. It's a very interesting couple.
Very, very.
So
now my face like this. Why? Why is my face like this? Talk about that. Like, they got through the whole Michael Ealy pick up and spin situation.
They made it.
Remember that?
Yeah, they made it through his court case and his allegations and what have you. What makes them a weird couple to me, I guess, is going from Devon Franklin, Pastor Franklin, and that whole situation. And it's aesthetically they're different.
Aesthetically,
that
I think that's why my face does that.
Yeah, and then people is really in an uproar because they feel like he broke down after the whole situation. He ain't making no money. She about to be paying all his bills, his child support, and this, and this, and this. It was a whole
child
list.
Support.
Girl, yeah, it was a whole list of stuff that they were saying that she was paying.
His child support.
Yeah, if he got
Does
money.
She have any kids?
No, somebody got to pay the child support or whatever, all the bills. So she supposedly is paying all of the bills.
That's my man, and I'ma stand beside
him. And which is their business. I'm happy for them if that's what you want to do. God bless. I wish y'all nothing but the best. He not my cup of tea, but he not for me. So
not my cup of tea either. It's the whole I did see the thing where he was going through an assault charge and all of that stuff. Ended up, everything in the wash come out in the dry situation, where it ended up where she was attacking him and literally chasing him through the streets. But poor baby with that. But I don't know. My jury's out when it comes to that, mister.
So we'll just put them on Baywatch.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. We'll see how they go.
But hopefully every time we say their name, my face on it like that.
Yeah, because that's not nice.
Okay. All right. Well, what's next on the tea?
Well, what's next on the tea is the Lions, baby. You hear me? Detroit Lions, one pride, I'm going to stop pretending like I know what happened, so I'm going to hand it off to her.
She does not watch football, y'all. She don't.
I watch it periodically, sprinkled here and there. I watch the Super Bowl, and I might catch about 2-3 games for the season.
Anywho, the Lions came through. The record is 9-1.
9-1, baby.
We are on task, on target to be at that Super Bowl that you're talking about that you watch.
I watched the
We
Super
might
Bowl.
just be up in that thing.
And so I'm here for it. I 100% am proud of the Detroit Lions. I'm a realist, though. I'm not a bandwagon fan. For how old am I? So for 40 years, not been on Team Lions, okay? And that was just because of poor performance. Poor performance should not be rewarded. However, they out here doing their thug this.
Listen, my fiance has been showing up at Super Bowls for years with Lions gear on. Okay, he is a diehard. You hear me?
You know what I'm saying? You got to put it out there in the world. You know what I'm saying? What you want?
Diehard, and so as a result, I am diehard as well. And yeah, I'm always gonna chop up them Lions. But child, did the Jaguars even try? Did you see the game? You didn't see the game. I don't know. It seemed like I don't know.
I was gonna watch the one with the Texans. That was my plan. I told my husband, like, okay, we're gonna watch the Monday night, situation or whatever. I don't know what happened. We didn't see because he don't care nothing about sports.
But listen,
and neither do I.
When the game started, right? I told my fiance, I said, this other team they're not going to be able to score, and they're not going to be able to get in our end zone. They're not going to be able to touch our end zone. And they did not. Do you hear me? The Lions did not let them touch the end zone, baby. Lions pride. She's so fake. Okay, moving on to the next T on the docket. All right, so this one might be a little touchy. I don't know. But there is like this thing going on where everybody and their mama, they're using filters.
Okay.
Whether it be for videos or for pictures or whatever the case may be, everybody's using filters, and it's kind of like it's gotten to the point too now. These filters, you can tell, right? Because when people start to move or do a certain thing, you can see the screen do the little wiggly thing.
Right.
It's like
it glitch on you. Yeah.
It's like
the eyelash over here.
And that's, I feel like sometimes a filter can kind of create a distance between your audience. I feel like, because if you're showing me your everyday life and you're doing laundry or you're just doing some everyday task, I'm sure you might not have makeup and stuff on doing that, but with your filter, it makes it look like you do have it on. So it's like, is that a realistic depiction of your everyday life or whatever you're trying to share? I don't know. To each his own. I don't use filters necessarily. We've never used filters with our podcast here.
Yeah, I don't know how to do it.
Is that why?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I like me a good filter.
You
okay?
do?
I do. Now, here's the thing. I only use it when I post videos to the TikTok that I've made directly in the TikTok app. Okay. Because I like that bold glam. Baby, it make everybody fine. You hear me? Give me a little bold glam. So I appreciate filters for, sometimes you got to do a video and you ain't looking your best. Your face might be a little agitated, irritated, or whatnot. You don't want the world to see that. That ain't their business. So you want to go ahead and use a filter. Do you? I feel like the issue comes in at when you only use filters in representing yourself. Because then if you're out here dating and things like that, people are trying to get to know you, and they like, that thing on the thing, she fine. And then they see you and you're like, well, you all right, but what a fine girl.
Right.
You know?
So you feel like it's a difference between, maybe recording something for public consumption as opposed to using it during your every FaceTime call, or you know what I mean, that kind of thing.
But here's the thing. It's up to you, because there are some people there are people who have been in their lives for decades and have never seen them without makeup. Right? There are people who wear makeup every day. There's not anything wrong with that. That's your preference. So and I think people use filters in the same way. I don't ever want you to see me not looking my best. Right. So I'm going to put on this filter. You know? Yeah. I'm like, look here. Do what you gonna do, you know?
I guess that could be the equivalent too of, like, for myself, if I'm at home, first of all, I barely wear makeup, but I don't walk out this door without eyeliner on. You know what I mean? Because I know I'm gonna be in, people's face. So I guess it's kind of like the same thing.
It's just a level of, what you need. Yeah. There are some people, some women whose husbands have never seen them without makeup.
I don't believe that. How can you be married to somebody? You don't wear makeup in the shower.
Who don't?
They don't. People don't wear makeup in the shower. Who? First of all, it's gonna come off in the shower.
Not if you don't put your face into the water.
Yep. I don't believe it. Anyway.
Well, put it in the comments if you know people who get up early before their spouse wake up, go to bed later than their spouse, or what have you. They got their night makeup.
Please put that in the comments.
And all of the things. Put it in the comments.
Put it in the comments. Because I don't believe that exists. I don't think people do that. I really don't. I don't think people still do that. Or let me say people over 30. I don't think people over 30 do that.
They do.
They don't do that. Put it in the comment. Okay? Because I don't believe that.
Because I need y'all to prove me right. So please put it in the comments if you know people who, and there's no judgment in that, but they're just our people who don't like to see other people like other people to see them without their makeup.
That's very interesting. That's very interesting. That's extremely interesting. Anywho, so that's it for our tea.
That's it
That's
for
it.
the
I done
tea.
sip good. I done sip real good today. Okay.
So let's talk about sponsorship. So this is the portion of the show where we're always asking for a sponsor,
Mhm.
or actually we're discussing a sponsor. Well, today we're asking for sponsorship. If you would like to be featured on the next Person to Person podcast, if you what's the word I'm looking for? Support what we do here. If you want to get your business out there so that other people know what you have, what you sell, or what you bring to the table,
Yes.
please send us an email to wearepersontoperson@gmail.com. Again, that's wearepersontoperson@gmail.com. And in the subject line, just put sponsorship so that we'll know that you would like to be featured on an episode of Person to Person.
Yes. And then also feel free to tag yourself in the comments below too. Tag your business.
Absolutely.
We'll see that and we can shout your business out. Tell the people what the name of your business is, what you do, and how groovy you are.
How groovy you are. She's 85. Also, if you want, because I didn't tell you this.
What?
We got an email or an inbox from somebody asking to be a guest on our show.
Ooh.
Okay, don't
say it. Don't say it.
So, also, if you are interested in sitting down with Person to Person and sipping some tea, you have something that you're working on, something you want to talk about, or you just want to shoot the breeze, also send that information to wearepersontoperson@gmail.com.
Come on and send it. Let's do this together.
Yes.
All right. So we're going to dive right on in to our topic for today, which is family healing, which also, of course, we can't talk about healing without talking about trauma.
Absolutely.
Okay. So we're going to get into that topic. Shameless plug. I am a part of an organization called Healing from the Rhythms Within, and we focus on therapy through art, music, all different types of art forms, whether it be actual visual art, performance art, whatever you can think of when it comes to the art world, using those things for mental health awareness and therapy. For artists that are out there. So tap into Healing from the Rhythms Within. We do have Facebook, Instagram presence, so you can follow us there. A lot of the things that we're going to talk about today is going to lead back to the road of therapy and healing and knowing that there is help out there, regardless of what your journey might be. So yeah, let's get into it. Healing family wounds. And that's a good thing to talk about around this time too, because a lot of times we associate family time like Thanksgiving and holidays and stuff like that with good times with the family.
Absolutely.
And a lot of times there is the other side of the coin, where this could be a time where you have to be around someone who may have hurt you. Whether it be because of offense, something they said that hurt you, something they did that hurt you, the way that they speak to you that may have hurt you. You may have to be around this person. And sometimes instead of being fake, per se, you can use this as an opportunity to heal. You can use this as an opportunity to have certain conversations and get the healing under the way instead of just pretending like everything is okay beneath the dressing and the candy.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And then you also have to understand that healing is a personal journey. And your healing may not come with participation from the person that hurt you. So you may not be able to have that conversation, right? Because they're not ready to be honest. They're not ready to own up to, what has transpired, or they don't feel like they're wrong in any way. You have people that'll say, hey, God forgave me. I don't have to deal with that. Right?
Yes.
As if, and that's one of the things I love about the AA program is the amends, right? Because it is important to make amends with people, even if they don't accept it.
Yeah.
Right? And it's the same thing with healing. Even though they don't want to participate in your healing, the first step is forgiveness.
Yeah.
You gotta let that thing go.
Mm.
Whatever that thing is, because it's not hurting anybody but you. You're the person that is internalizing these things. You're the person that's making yourself sick. You're the person that's making your quality of life less than beautiful because you are holding on to rage and anger for things that you cannot change. You can't change that person.
Yeah,
So
it's
you
a
have to
process.
deal with it.
It's a
Yeah.
process. That's one thing I can say is that, you know, when you hear people say, you know, let it go, just forgive, like that is such a huge thing. It really is. And so now may be the time to start that journey, you know, to get in touch with a therapist to, or whatever your device would be to start your healing journey so that when you do walk into that living room on Thanksgiving, regardless of whether that person is ready to have a conversation or ready to go on this healing journey with you, you've already started your own and you're coming to the table whole. And being able to be in existence with this other person or these other people who may have hurt you, but you're sitting there in your wholeness. Okay, you're not sitting there being more traumatized by the situation. And so now might be the time to start that healing journey, that let it all go and forgive journey, because it is a journey. It's just not as simple as saying the words.
Absolutely. It is a journey. And it, however long it takes, take your time. You don't have to rush it. But what that does, what trauma does to you, because let's be honest, there are not many of us that don't have trauma.
Come on.
There are, you know, it's varying degrees of trauma, right? And it doesn't make, nobody has the monopoly on trauma, right? Because we could all sit and share war stories about this happened to me, that happened to me, and then this happened to me. So what you have to know is your trauma is also tied to your physical health. Okay, it's not just a thing that makes you sad, right? It's a thing that can make you physically sick. So I looked online today, and I just wanted to know, because me and my sister were having a conversation about the effects that trauma can have on you, anxiety being one of them, right? And so we know that trauma can cause mental health to not be well, not necessarily mental health issues, but you're just not quite well because of the things that have happened to you. But that's not the only thing. So I'm going to read you what good old AI said on Google. It says,
I'm on a research.
Yes, childhood trauma can cause physical health issues. You'll be able to read along up here if you don't like my reading. It can be chronic conditions. Childhood trauma can increase the risk of chronic health conditions such as heart disease, diabetes, and stroke. Somatic complaints. People who have experienced trauma may experience physical symptoms such as headaches, abdominal pains. I have migraines. Sleep disturbances. Trauma keeps you from being able to sleep, staying asleep, not getting as much sleep as you need, right? Your body is just dysregulated. Okay, so you may have things where you over respond to touch, right? Things like fibromyalgia, which is your body's just working overtime with its pain sensors, and nobody knows why. It's because it's rooted in your trauma, the things that you are not letting go, right? That's why healing is so important, because when you internalize, which is why I say forgiveness is for you, you're only hurting you by not starting the process to let those things go. It brings out, you know, less than moral behavior. Okay, you know what I'm saying? You out here, you in these streets, and you're doing, you know, all of the things, right? Because your trauma has either made you feel devalued, or it finally makes you feel like you're in charge of something. So I'm in charge of my body. I give it to who I want to, not people taking it from me, right? But you don't realize that you've entered into an unhealthy space in that who you give it to. You know what I'm saying? Because you really about to be the lady in Tupac song, You Wonder Why They Call You. You know what I'm saying? If you know how that song goes. So you have to understand that your traumas, you do know what I'm talking about, right?
I know exactly.
You know what I'm saying? It's
I know
like,
exactly what you're
look
talking
here,
about.
Miss
But
Thing,
there
hate
is
to salt your
always
game, but you's a money hungry woman, maybe need to change. Okay, I'm sorry.
Jesus Christ. There's also, of course, there's always a flip to a coin, okay? 'Cause
Okay.
there are women who are just empowered, trauma not having anything to do
Absolutely.
with it and being in charge with their bodies.
But here's the
and
thing.
doing what they want to do, how they want to do, when they
Absolutely.
want to do. And go ahead, baby.
You do, but let's be honest, there are more of us that it's a trauma response. And so,
Sometimes
and being
it is.
somebody who had a particular trauma response to things that have happened to me in my life, I can now recognize and say, okay, what I thought may have been empowerment was really me hurting,
Yeah.
And so you just have to be real with yourself about what those things can do.
Mhm.
And not only that, trauma causes mental health issues,
Mhm.
anxiety, depression. Like these things are real
Yeah.
and they are exacerbated by the traumas that we have experienced.
Yeah. And it can desensitize you to the point where you're victimizing other people.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Because if you grow up in an environment where, talking down to someone, yelling, being hostile, if that's a regular and normal thing for you on a day-to-day basis, you can go out into the world thinking that that's okay and that's acceptable, and actually traumatize and victimize other people. A lot of times, that statement "hurt people is very
it
real.
is the truth, because abuse is abuse.
Okay,
if you've been abused, it is probably an 8 out of 10 chance that you will repeat the same offense to someone else.
Yep. Or if you watched your mama talk down to your dad or talk to him any old type of way or even put her hands on him, you might grow up disrespecting men,
That was a horrible punch, by the way. I promise I can throw these things, but anyway.
But yeah, and a lot of times if you grow up in a violent environment, you're desensitized to violence. So yeah, you out here fighting any and everybody because that's how you lived your life. That's how you walked in the world where people would just beat and hit as a response.
And there are people who be like, he don't love me if he don't hit me. Because that's the trauma that they grew up in.
Yeah.
So they don't know anything else.
Yeah.
I want to take a second and talk about victimization.
Mm-hmm.
You were victimized. You do not have to be a victim. There is a clear distinction between the two. This thing happened to me. It does not define me. Because when you let your trauma define you, you are making yourself a victim, right? Because you're living this life in victimhood. This happened to me. Oh my God, this happened to me. As opposed to, this happened to me. I'm going to, 1, make sure it doesn't happen to me again. I'm 2, going to empower other young women so that they don't have to go through the thing that I went through. I'm breaking generational curses. So I am not going to interact with my children in this way just because, grandma or uncle or whoever talked to me like I was worthless and told me that I was never going to be anything, or I'm going to be just like my mama, or whatever the trauma is that was said to you, the life that was spoken out of you, right? Because it wasn't life spoken into you, it was spoken out of you. Those things do not have to define you. I'm going to show you. First of all, I'm a very stubborn person. And I'm going to show you better than I can tell you. And so I'm thankful that that thing has helped me with my trauma. I'm not going to be the statistic that anybody thought that I was going to be because I don't have to be.
Yeah.
Right? I don't subscribe myself to the pain that I have been through.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing with that, though, is, again, it's easier said than done. You can't do any of those things that she just talked about without tools.
Absolutely. You do need tools.
A lot of times, we push all of our trauma down. We push all of the things that happen to us down, and we just show up. Because we have to show up in the world. We have to adult, right? We have to pay bills. We have to go to work. We have to interact with our children and all of those things. And meanwhile, we haven't dealt with any of that. And we're expecting to walk around like we haven't been a victim in these things. Or, You might allow what you've gone through to define who you are if you don't have any tools to do anything else with. So if you fall in that boat where you're still walking in your trauma, it's okay. It's okay. Just get the tools. Get the tools, because we can say all this stuff until we're blue in the face. People can, make all of these motivational speeches, get up off the ground and you're better than that, and all of these things. But none of that matters if you don't have the tools to do what we're talking about, you know? And so definitely seek therapy, seek your way of healing. Maybe it's not therapy. Maybe it's something else. Maybe it's church. Maybe it's going on walks. Maybe it's sitting by the water. Maybe whatever your methodology is, find it. Find what works for you. Because we are more than our trauma.
Absolutely.
We definitely are. And these holidays are coming around. Trauma is going to show up. It's going to show up. It could be within you. It could be within a family member, or whatever the case may be. Start your journey to get the tools that you need.
Absolutely.
With everything that we've shared and everything that we've said, please let your takeaway be that now is the time to start your healing journey. Whatever that looks like, if that looks like therapy, if that looks like spiritual healing, if that looks like whatever works specifically for you. Right. I did a rage room one time. Whatever works for you. There is no one size fits all. Okay. But now is the time that trauma may rear its ugly head, especially when it's family time, especially when those folks who may have hurt us come around and we have to figure out how to handle it, whether we're going to ignore it, address it, or whatever the case may be. Now is an amazing time to start your healing journey.
And I think that is a good way to end our latest episode of Person to Person. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share with your friends and family. We need more people in our community, and we are growing, baby. We got all the followers. But anyway, so come on over here. But
so
have
that's
a
on
great
Facebook.
day.
What? Person to Person on Facebook. Person to Person on Instagram.
We are Person to Person on YouTube.
Okay. And Person to Person on TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
Check us out. Person to Person out.